When opening the drawer, I held my breath, anxious and afraid. What if it's not there? What if I dropped it on the streets? What if someone stole it? What if, talk? The drawer resisted my pull, indicating that it was fully opened. I slowly opened my eyes and held my heart in my throat. Phew. Seeing the familiar red cover laying neatly inside the drawer, a relieved breath passed through my mouth as my heart dropped back to my chest. Suddenly, my giggle became sporadic. I rubbed my eyes and held the book next to my chest. Sorry I left you behind, I whispered as if placating a sulking child. I shudder at a sudden thought I had. If someone really less than M greater than did less than M greater than rob me. I shouldn't think of something so horrible. After making sure that the book was untouched by all except him, I looked at the title of the book. The Art of Fuinjutsu, written by Hira Uzumaki. I was right, I mumbled. The author was an Uzumaki. I nodded. This was the only book I had that was written by an Uzumaki. It's also the only book related to the Uzumaki in some way, as the library didn't have any books about the Uzumaki clan. I trembled in excitement at the thought of belonging to a clan. I may not have a family, but at least I have a clan. But I guess nothing changes. The book he read from the library said that the Uzumaki clan had long fallen. All of the sudden, the excitement I felt turned into bitterness. Here I thought I finally belonged somewhere. Turns out it was a fool's dream, I said, clutching the book in my hand tightly. At least I still have a book written by an Uzumaki. I hope I can meet an Uzumaki in the future. I looked at the ceiling and imagined what I would do if that happened. The first thing I'd do is check if they have red hair like me. I shake my head. For now, I want to try learning Fuinjutsu. Since an Uzumaki can write a book about Fuinjutsu, it means he knows Fuinjutsu. As an Uzumaki, I should also know Fuinjutsu. I laughed at the thought. Perhaps I'm just trying to fill a void in my heart, but who cares? If it makes me happy, then that's all that matters. The book said that the most basic skill of a Fuinjutsu expert is chakra control. It said something about having as much chakra control as an average Hyuga. I tilted my head to the side, my brows raised. What is a Hyuga? Are they a clan like the Uzumaki? I guess so. They must have pretty good chakra control if the book describes it that way. Although I was the red book, I didn't actually open it. I just recalled the contents of the book from memory, and holding the book is just a habit that I formed. Should I go back to the library? I pondered. The librarian there is so kind. Maybe he'll tell me things about the Hyuga clan if I ask him. While talking to myself, a realization hit me. I forgot to ask about his name. Looking out the window, I saw that the sun was already at its peak, and the streets were as busy as a market. Well, let's ask him tomorrow. For now, I'll try practicing this chakra control thing. I went into action as soon as I thought of what to do. Firstly, I put the book down and took out a rug, laying it down on the floor. After closing the windows to prevent the noise from distracting me, I sat down on the floor with my legs crossed and eyes closed. Meditation is the best way to relax your mind. Or so the second Hokage says. I didn't doubt the second Hokage's words, but if someone were to ask me, I'd disagree. The best way to relax is by reading. But since I need an empty mind, I have no choice but to meditate. If I read a book to relax, the book's contents would fill up my mind, rendering the whole thing a waste of time. After 30 minutes, I open my eyes and look at my hands. Meditation is like watching paint dry up, but by the end of it, you have dry paint. In other words, it works as intended. My mind is calm and no intrusive thoughts invaded my head. At least for now. Before I get distracted, I'll try and sense my chakra system. After closing my eyes again, I tried to feel my chakra system. Chakra is supposed to feel either warm or cool, and it's supposed to be erratic or chaotic, while the chakra system should look similar to the nervous system and the circulatory system. Amen. Suddenly, a groan came out of my mouth without warning. So warm. The moment I tried to feel for my chakra, I was instantly hit with a warm feeling. It reminded me of the sun, like I was basking under the sun on a cold winter day, or like I was laying under a blanket on a cold winter night. It made me feel relaxed, and if I continued, I'd fall asleep. Quick, let's go to the next step. Apparently, no one can fall asleep while doing chakra exercises. It was the second Hokage's words. According to him, only a brain-dead fool would fall asleep while doing chakra exercises. After successfully feeling my chakra system, I circulated my chakra clockwise around my body. From my right arm to my right leg, then to my left leg and to my left arm, and then to my head and to my torso before going back to my right arm. You were supposed to start with your dominant arm, hence why I started with my right arm. When I started, it feels like trying to move a heavy boulder upward, but after circulating my chakra 3 times, the feeling of heaviness slowly lessened. I feel so itchy. If he were to describe it, it was similar to scrubbing your body clean of grime, but you weren't allowed to rinse yourself. The feeling was both relieving and frustrating. After repeating the process 30 times, the recommended amount stated by the second Hokage, the heavy feeling completely disappeared and circulating chakra was like moving my arm around. It felt natural and without any resistance. Then, I opened my eyes, but before light could even hit my eyes, I froze and my face turned pale as if I'd seen a ghost. A pungent smell attacked my nose like the most potent vinegar. The smell itself wasn't unbearable, but being covered from head to toe by the smell was, and the fact that his entire body made me feel like I was a living slime made my expression turn sour. Slop. Even if I just twisted his body, a sloshy sound would ring in my ears making me cringe. Bath. I need a bath. Squelch. Slop. Fuech. Squelch. As I ran to the bathroom, my ears tingled from hearing the sloppy noises as I hold my breath as if the room is filled with toxic gas. Behind me was the rug I sat on. As you would expect, it was damp and left a trail of sweat behind it as he dragged the rug to the bathroom with him. I'll wash myself and that rug clean, lest my room smells like the wet market in the future. After taking a bath, I opened the door to the balcony with the intention to hang the rug for the sun to dry it up. As a result, I was greeted by a dark sky and a setting sun. No way. I only practiced for a few minutes. I stood still, my mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water and my eyes blank like a salted fish. Finally, after 3 minutes, I realized what happened. My perception of time is cut off every time I practice chakra control exercises. No wonder the second Hokage always mentioned outdoor training and didn't mention anything about indoor training. I scratch my head and hang the rug on the balcony to dry when the next day dawns. I should be careful and always be mindful of time, lest I accidentally train for days and dehydrate or starve to death. I shiver at the thought. With nothing else to do, I sat on the floor one more time after eating dinner. This time, I wanted to try a different chakra control exercise. The second exercise involves actually releasing chakra. The second Hokage said to start with a small amount and increase the chakra output from there. You succeed when you can see faint chakra coat your palm. I closed my eyes and controlled my chakra to gather around my right palm. Then, I imagined a trapdoor being opened on my palm and commanded my chakra to exit through and linger on my palm. When I felt a warm current on my palm, I opened my eyes but found not even a trace of azure. Is the output too low? I mumbled and tried to increase the chakra output. This time, I didn't close my eyes. I watched closely. But nothing happened. Frowning, I pushed half of my entire chakra to my palm. Suddenly, a cut with the length of a thumb and the thickness of a pencil appeared on my palm. The crimson flesh, torn skin, and rose-red blood made me tremble non-stop. It hurts. I held my right wrist with my left hand, and the trembling lessened. Then I went to the sink and washed the wound clean. Seep. When the clean water touched the open wound, I bit my lip. The pain is too intense, but I can somehow endure it without crying out, although silent tears were rolling down my face. After washing the wound clean, I wrapped the wound with a clean bandage and sat on the bed. I didn't know I can hurt myself, I mumbled, but after doing so, I suddenly wanted to slap myself. I just remembered, chakra is the fuel to ninjutsu, those fantastical things that allow ninjas to breathe flames and make wind blades. Of course, it's dangerous to recklessly train with chakra. Now I understand why most people didn't want to become a ninja despite the allure it brings. Ninjas have great strength and even greater wealth. If you are a ninja and have decent skills, you wouldn't experience starvation. Furthermore, if you were strong enough, you can become a powerhouse that the world obeys. Humans are creatures that seek control and authority. How can they pass on such a sweet candy? Now I understand. Training to become a ninja is dangerous, not to mention that going into missions is even more dangerous. I should have been careful, I thought before falling asleep from fatigue. Chirp. Chirp. Tweet. Yawn. Stretching my arms and body awake, I looked around the room when I felt a dull pain in my palm. Looking down, I saw that the bandage had been loosened and soaked in blood. Damn, was my sleeping posture that bad? I mumbled in doubt, but when I looked at the messy bed sheets, I can only helplessly shake my head. The sun is above me, how can I doubt its existence? I walked toward the first aid kit and cleaned my wound before wrapping it up with another roll of bandage. By the time I finished tidying up the desk, I realized that I will need more bandages and other medical supplies, especially if I want to train chakra controls, since this will undoubtedly repeat itself. But who would sell me a first aid kit? The villagers avoided me as if my touch meant death. Looking around me, I see the shop owners closing their windows or covering their products whenever my gaze land on their precious goods. Not wanting to disturb their day, I resumed walking with my head bowed down. What did I do wrong? Hey, what's your name? Come, let's play. Suddenly, a cheerful voice echoed in my ears. The tone was sunny and playful, and an imaginary group of friends popped out of my mind. I smiled bitterly. I wish I had a friend too. Hey, why are you ignoring me? When I kept walking, someone tapped my shoulder. Huh. Startled, I look up and saw the bluest eyes I'd ever seen. It was a boy with the same age and height as me, and he had golden yellow hair and a radiant, toothy grin. After not having anyone talk to me for weeks, I tilted my head to the side and asked uncertainly, "Are you talking to me?" Who else would I be talking to? He shook his head and looked around. I mimicked him and looked around, realizing that the streets were empty and only the two of us were occupying the wide path. So, what's your name? Wanna play? Does he really want to play with me? Really? Come on. Just say your name already, stop putting me in suspense. When the cheery voice turned a little annoyed, I panicked. Will he not play with me if I don't say my name? My name is Naruto Uzumaki. After saying my name, I look at him to watch his reaction. When other kids hear my name, they freak out and run away. Will he run away too? Oh, you mean those fish cakes in ramen? The boy laughed. Hearing the remark, my face flushed red and I glare at him. It's not. It means, maelstrom. Say it with me, maelstrom. For some reason, he only laughed louder. I bet your parents were hungry when they named you, PFF'd. Hey. Pissed off, I raised my fist. Care to say that again? Somehow, my hair felt lighter and the boy gulped, wide-eyed, and was meekly shaking his head. Seeing this, I nodded in satisfaction and my blood stopped boiling. Both I and the boy turned our heads when we heard another voice. Looking to my left, I saw a girl with short, dark blue hair and pale, lavender eyes. Her eyes look pretty. Can you tell me where the bakery is? It's called Hanapan. In other words, she was lost. Although she knew the way back home, she wouldn't dare wander around. She was timid by nature, and bumping into a lot of strangers was a bit too much for her at the moment. She'd rather go to the bakery she frequented and walk home from there. Who would have known she'd meet an acquaintance from before? Seeing her embarrassed appearance, my chest felt a little lighter and my mind scrambled for a reply. Hello. I said, giving out my best toothy grin to outdo the boy beside me. When the girl saw his smile, her face flushed and she looked down. I guess he doesn't remember me, she thought, and a smile formed on her face before she looked back up and greeted the red-haired and golden-haired boys. Seeing her relaxed smile, a faint memory flashed at the back of my mind, but I can't recall a clear picture. She looks familiar. Suddenly, The events of last winter came into his mind. Oh right, she's the girl that I saved. I definitely saved her from bullies, definitely.